Hello and welcome to the Sunshine Summit of 2018. My name is Heather and I am the host of Sunshine PowerCuts, a podcast that features two types of episodes that alternate. Sunshine ones offer inspiration drawn from nature, and in the PowerCut ones I share insights into my life living off the power grid. The Sunshine Summit is a week-long event of live streams celebrating connections, which I launched back in March 2018, and here we are again in August. Today I am super stoked to be joined by my friend from across the ditch, which is how we here in New Zealand refer to Australia. So, g'day, how you going? To Luke from Luke Who's Talking.
Hello, how are you? I've got a mouthful of toast. I'm sorry.
Just wash it down.
I will. Let me put that there.
You might
Practice.
have to...
Oh, wait, I should get that teddy out of the way.
I want to say hey to Derek, Bandrew, and Tim and Mimich, who've come by the live chat pretty early on, so it's nice to see you guys there. But Luke, you and I connected through the Podcastage Discord server, and there's a few of them here celebrating with us today. So it's been great knowing you for the past year, nearly a year, which is the lifetime of the Podcastage Discord server. And you've just recently launched Luke Who's Talking, which is your podcast. So if you want to introduce yourself and all of that, that would be amazing.
Oh, well, okay. Well, yeah, I'm Luke, and this is I hate it when you have to talk about yourself, but yeah. So I have the podcast Luke Who's Talking, where I basically just elaborate on and tell stories about things that I have seen around my daily life, or just something unusual that might have happened, and that all sort of stemmed from a radio show I do, where I've been doing it for a while, and I would tell various stories on there. And I just sort of thought, well, maybe how can I share these various stories with other people? Because people would always be like, my mum's friends particularly would be like, oh, he's so funny on the radio, and that sort of stuff. So the idea of, so I've been thinking about doing the podcast for a while and finally started it.
Yeah. It's not your first podcast, though, technically, is it?
Well, no, it's not. A while ago when I was in, I'll say college just to make it easier for the overseas viewers. I was doing a film course, and me and a friend, we were quite good friends, and we had we had nicknames for each other, and it stemmed from because I had never seen Top Gun, so I was Goose and he was Mav, so we'd call each other, Goose and Mav,
Mm-hmm.
and we'd come up with doing a podcast, and we we're going to call it a bromance with Goose and Mav. That was the name. So we recorded one episode just because this person had an Apple, so we just got GarageBand up and pretty much sat in front of the computer and recorded a podcast. And then now the illustrious SP from Better Podcasting will be spewing about this, but we uploaded it to SoundCloud, and it lasted that one episode.
I'm shaking my head at you for SP.
Oh yeah, hold on. Is that him yelling now? Don't use SoundCloud. But yeah. So I don't even know if it's on there anymore. Okay. I couldn't say. Yeah. No, I wouldn't even know. I suppose I just open up SoundCloud and go Goose and Mav, or it's a bromance. I have no idea. But actually, talking to SoundCloud, I wanted to listen to something on there the other day from a few years back, and it wasn't on there. I couldn't find it. So
okay,
classic SoundCloud.
We've got a couple of comments in the chat. We've got Adam who said that the hat game today. We're on point with our hats.
Yeah.
And Bandrew said pod fading after one episode uploaded to SoundCloud. The podcast gods are, I can't even read the chat.
The podcast gods are crying.
Yeah, that's the one. Oh yeah.
Apparently. Yeah.
Apparently.
Who are the podcast gods? Oh, sorry. Are the podcast gods SP and Stephen? Who are the podcast gods?
Yeah. Teddy?
Yeah, maybe Mr. Bean's Teddy's the podcast god. What do you reckon?
Yeah. So congratulations anyway on Look Who's Talking, which is your latest one. You're up to episode 4, I believe, and it's on a fortnightly release schedule, and they can find that one on Podbean.
That is correct, yes. And of course, it's, where all good podcasts can be found. So at the end of the last couple of episodes, I've sort of said, if the podcast isn't where you listen, tweet or send me an email so I can investigate and get it on your service.
That's very good of you.
Wherever you want it to be. But
yeah.
Most of the podcatchers get their stuff from iTunes. So
yeah, make it easy for people to listen to. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And just going back to the Discord server, which is where we're connected, and we've had a lot of incredible connections there. Like I said, there's a lot of them in the chat, which is amazing. Larko is one, and he said sponsored by Samson. We both have the Q2U, so Q2U hype.
We do. Yeah. And I splashed and got the fancy Niwa boom arm, which was an extra like $10 or something. So
and that's
I went
working
all
out
out.
Well. You did.
And I almost got the
pop filter
as well, but I was like, ooh, can I justify that extra $7?
Turns out no.
Or however much it was. Apparently not.
Yeah. Definitely Q2U hype though. It is a good microphone. It is a good starting point for people, and that's what we've discovered through the Podcasted YouTube channel, I believe.
Yes, I think there was a conversation there the other day. I think it was yesterday, and it was like, just get a Q2U.
Yeah, that's the one that gets recommended the most. But the people,
I reckon.
Oh, sorry, you go.
I was just going to say, I reckon Bandrew's affiliate link for the Q2U, Bandrew Scotty from Podcastage, I reckon that link's probably had the most action of any affiliate link he has.
We should. Well, he's hopefully, if he's heard the question. If not, I'll ask him again tomorrow and find out. Yeah, and Adam from Odd Dad Out has the same setup. He has the Q2U as well, so that's awesome. Some of the people that we've connected with in the Discord server have helped you with Look Who's Talking. So if you wanted to share a little bit of those stories, because I think that's incredible, the support and the range of talent that's available in that group.
Yeah, well, Mark, I was almost going to say Tim. Jeez, sorry, Mark from the Discord. He came up with the name. I was floating a couple of other names, simply because there was this online generator where you could type your name in, and it would give you like your Sean Spicer name. We all love Sean Spicer, the former press secretary of the White House. They did always louse people's names up, so you could get online, put your name in, and it'd tell you what your Sean Spicer name was. And mine was Lukey Newsreel. So I thought about using that for a bit, or a variation of it. But then I thought, well, because it's got like newsreel or news in it, maybe people might think it's a news podcast or news based, when it's not. It's just me banging on about dumb stuff. So there was a little bit of a conversation about what could I call this in the Discord, and Mark said, well, how about Luke Who's Talking? And I thought, sold. Yeah. I'll buy that for $1. So I did help. So I stole that name. And then with the artwork, because I'm not very good at it, I had some help from Vixie, who helped me out with some stuff, and also Mrs. Ducky. Mm-hmm. This isn't Mrs. Ducky, but
no.
It's a duck. Who also was kind enough to help me out with some artwork and just like getting the sizes, because you need a million different bits of stuff. You can't just have one size that's going to go on all the websites. You need a different size banner for like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and the profile pictures I think are pretty much the same, but the banner sizes are all different. It's like just have one, thanks. The internet needs one banner size across all sites. Let's lobby for it.
Okay, let's do that. Hashtag one size fits all.
Yeah, one size fits all. Come on, internet, you can do it.
Memeage asked, do you happen to have a Memeage plush prepared?
No, I don't.
And
I thought, is this good enough?
Is that good enough, Memeage? There's Bandrew said that, oh hey, the Q2U is the number 10 this year as far as the affiliate links. It's the second microphone behind the 80 2020. So we need to do more promotion.
Yeah, we do. I'm not happy about that.
Yeah.
Get Q2U to number 1 and not number 2.
What's that, number 10? So we've got a fair way to go. We've got 9 more places to move it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. One of the fun things.
Much work.
Yeah, one of the fun things we do is sometimes hang out in the weekly voice chat in the Podcasters Discord server, which has been a lot of fun. And so I think there were some people excited to see what you look like today because they haven't seen you before. And I really appreciate you being live visually for the Sunshine Summit. So thank you.
Oh, that's fine. They can just see how ruggedly handsome I actually am.
And we've got the dapper game going on today. So dapper.
Yeah, we've got the dapper hats, and you've got your little hat on, and it is quite interesting just to see somebody's face to go with their voice, because you paint you do paint a bit of a picture of what somebody looks like just by their voice, and you see them and you think, I wasn't expecting that at all. So hopefully it's not a visual scandal.
But you're here and I appreciate that, so it's grouse.
Yeah, it is. Top notch. We're having a jocular time.
David said Q2U more like Q1U. Am I right, or am I right? And David would also like a Memeage plushie. And Andrew said you look exactly how he imagined you in his dreams.
He said his catchphrase.
That's beautiful.
Beautiful. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Fair dinkum. Let's move on, shall we? You've got some other great connections that you've made in your life, and one of them has to do with your health.
Yeah, well, sparing details, I'll just say that I'm not well. That sounds anyway. So over the years, you get to know and see a lot of various different health professionals and whatever, and the particular doctor and dietitian and group I see now, it's been the same for quite a few years. So as a result of that, it's not really like going to see your doctor. It's a little bit more than that, and because it's a bit awkward going to the doctor, if you're honest. But because I've been seeing the same group of people for a while, it's a lot more casual and just a lot more comfortable. And if you're having any drama, or any issues personally or whatever, you can just go and be like pretty straightforward and go, hey, this is situation, or can you help me with this, or whatever else. And also, we can email them as well if anything comes up, or if I need something, say, oh, I need an email about this. And actually yesterday, the person who coordinates and coordinates all the clinics and stuff called me, and they pretty much called me I called them last week to tell them I had a test, and they were like, I want to talk to you about something else, but I didn't know what it was. So I said, okay, they'll let me know. So pretty much yesterday they called me to tell me that they couldn't remember what they wanted to tell me. So we're at that point where we're having, slightly pointless phone calls. It was like, okay, thanks. I'll got to get back to work.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's a bit bizarre.
That's good.
Yeah. So you get to have a bit of a gas bag with them?
For sure. Yeah, they love a gas bag, because you'll call up and say, oh, I need a script for this, or I've had this test, and you just really need them to go, okay, we'll follow that up and then end it. But it's okay. Oh, so how you been? Good. Oh, what have you been doing? Oh, yeah, been going all right. Oh, you've been riding your bike? Yeah. And then you go, oh, well, I was riding. One of the doctors rides a bike, so we have a bit of a chat about that.
Cool.
And it goes nowhere. But it's like, okay, why not?
I think that's
shouldn't you be
cool.
doing something?
Yeah, but on the other side, I think from my experience and from other people that I've heard from, it's not always that kind of close relationship you can have with your healthcare team, because these days, like I remember back when I was younger, they were small family clinics, and it was, you really got to know who your health professionals were. They had time for you, whereas now they're trying to push you through the door, and like 15 minutes is your time slot. If you go over that, they charge you more. I mean, I had a really amazing doctor when I was younger, and he got in trouble for sort of doing that extra patient care and diagnosis and stuff. I think it almost got to the point where they kind of want to do one issue at a time, and if you've got more, you kind of have to book back for another appointment. So I know that you've had them as your team for a while, so it's awesome that you've got that rapport with them. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it is. It is. And, just book it up to Medicare.
Yeah. Adam just said...
Let's cause controversy and talk about healthcare.
We might scoot along, but Adam said,
I
just called to say I love you.
Yeah, it's almost how it is sometimes.
Yeah. That's cool.
What's this about?
Yeah. If there's a note here that you made possibly your best friend through an existing high school friend.
Yes, I just had to think about that for a second. I was like, where's this going?
We're slight segue, just jumping off.
Slight segue. Yeah, well, this is an interesting story, I suppose. Like this is typical podcast story right here. So when I was in high school, of course, you have your various group of friends, and then when we dispersed, well, actually no, they were still the same when we were at college. Anyway, while I was there, I became friends with somebody else who was in one of my classes, who still is a friend. But one of their friends did another class, and this other friend's probably quite my best friend now. But anyway, what happened is probably a year or so later, my high school friend was living with this other, it's very confusing. So this was my original friend. This is the friend I made in college, and this is the this friend's friend. So what happened was, a couple of years later, this friend was living with this friend. They were housemates. And so how that worked, this friend and me are now sort of besties, and have been for a while. And we still see this friend because they're besties. But I haven't seen this friend for a while. So I might have to seek them out.
Cool. Well, on that note, I bought
so it's like a friend through a friend
through
a friend.
Yeah. On that note, I brought some friends along
confusing.
too to support you. I've got my friend, the wombat. I've got a lot of Australian soft toys because I've done some holiday family trips over there when I was younger and collecting sort of soft toys as mementos. So I have the wombat, which is awesome, and then I have a koala.
The wombat is huge.
He is huge. He's amazing.
I couldn't find mine, unfortunately. Mine's probably like this big, but yours is like this big.
I do also have a smaller one, so that I got from the Australian Zoo when I went there.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've been there. Australia Zoo.
Australia Zoo.
Australia Zoo. Yeah. I don't know. Was there any crocodiles there? There probably was. I can't remember. It was like 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
But wombats, they look really slow, but they can run like 40 Ks.
Yeah.
They can run pretty fast.
Yeah. I have a good story about that. So I was in Australia at a petting zoo and I was very cute. I was about 4 years old and wearing a very nice stockings and pinafore dress. And this wombat decided he wanted to chase me and chased me all across this petting zoo and managed to bite a hole out of my stockings before my mum managed to pick me up and take me away. But despite that, I'm not afraid of them. So yeah, I've got a stuffed toy wombat.
Classic wombat shenanigans. I can't say I've ever seen one chase somebody.
It happens. They can run.
Yeah, I've seen a dog chase a wombat and not catch it.
Okay.
And then, the wombat goes in the hole and the dog sort of half goes in. And it's like, well, that's I'm not going to fit in there. And they just give up. Yeah. Lazy dogs, always giving up.
Have you got some stories in about the soft toys? Because that's kind of like a connection to our childhood and nostalgia and things. And
For soft toys, well, not really too much of a story about this one. I can't remember where it come from or why exactly I have it. But it's a cricket duck. He's got Cricket Australia on his head. It's official, genuine product, Cricket Australia. And he's got his little bat under his arm. So this is pretty much just here in case Mr. Ducky was watching. So I had a duck.
He'll probably be able to catch the replay because it is the wrong time of the day for him in time zones, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is, yes.
But there's cricketing terms that related to ducks, aren't there? Sorry.
Oh, yes. Well, there is. The duck is a cricketing term. And that is if you... Well, it's very confusing. It can be. So if you play cricket and you score 0 runs... you get a duck. They call it a duck. It's pretty. That doesn't sound that complicated. But if you get out on your first ball, you get a golden duck. And then if you get out without facing a ball, so you can be run out, that's called a diamond duck. So there's 3 different ducks you can get if you're playing cricket.
Yeah.
So that's a duck. How exciting! Put him down. This bear, his name's Bomber. Yeah, it's because I've had him for as long as I can remember. Since I was a wee lad, I've had Bomber. He doesn't have any, what's he got on his tag? Nothing, it's all worn off. Made in China, of course. I've had him forever. And his name's Bomber because of his football jersey he's got on. Is the team called Essendon, because we're based in Essendon in Victoria, and their logo or whatever is the Bombers, so they're called the Essendon Bombers. So that's why his name's Bomber. Ooh. And they're my team in the AFL. Yeah. Isn't that right? And you're not going to make finals this year, are you? So we'll just put you down there.
On the bench, being benched. I don't know if that's...
Yeah. Well, and for Mr. Bean Teddy, I got, I think, for my birthday one year, a long time ago. I can tell you pre-2003, I've had this one for sure. And I got this from my auntie. So this is, I suppose, a little bit special. Yeah. And also, you can't see it, but above my head over there, I've got like a aeroplanes hanging. Like a little mobile thing.
Mhm.
What do they call them? Of aeroplanes, and I've had that for ages. And my auntie also gave me that, so
Cool.
I've got those two things.
So you're a bit of a fan of Mr. Bean?
Yeah, he's all right, Mr. Bean. He's okay.
Okay.
Good old Rowan Atkinson.
Yeah.
Mr. Bean.
And is there anything else in your collection?
Oh, I don't have it with me, but I've got a teddy bear he's similar size. Well, they're all similar sizes to this, and he's blue, and his name's Blue Ted.
Do you know what?
How original.
Yeah, but no, I have a pink teddy. And this one has been around since I was a small girl. So pink Ted, blue Ted, that's cool.
Pink Ted, blue Ted, yeah. And I've got actually, do I still have it? I used to have a bunny, a rabbit that stood probably this high. Nice teddy. Yeah, I used to have a a rabbit that stood probably this high. It's huge. And he had a top hat on and like a pink blazer and a bow tie. It's like something you'd win at one of those dodgy sideshow games at a carnival or something. And my mum's auntie gave it to me, whatever that makes her to me in the family thing.
Tree.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
So, cool. And I've had that for a while as well.
That's awesome.
I need to buy some new teddies. All mine are old.
Well, like I was saying, it's the nostalgia thing. I think it's quite cool having some of those things from back in the day and not kind of recycling them or replacing them with new things. I mean, it is nice to get new things, and some new things that you're looking at are some Lego sets.
Yes. I don't have any Lego handy right here. I'll have to make a slight trip. So you can do something fancy and like make people look at you while I'm away slightly.
Okay. Well, here I am. Yeah, we just thought it would be fun to share some of our childhood stories and a bit of the Mima just liked the puppet show of the day, so that's cool. And Luke is back. Or coming back.
I'm back.
Yay.
So I've got this. VW Beetle.
You might want to shift it into the frame a little bit to towards you. No. Yeah, just the Beetle. Oh,
I need to be watching it somewhere.
Closer to your mic.
That's better.
Yeah. Cool. There we go.
And doors open. I think the front comes up to reveal that beautiful spare tire.
Awesome.
Back opens, if I can get it open, to reveal that big engine. Surfboard on top, and an esky. Oh, that might cause some controversy.
Ooh.
You call them chili bins, don't you?
Yes, I do. They are chili. They are bin and chili. I'm sorry about that, by the way. Andrew said, wait, that's a Lego? That's incredible.
And the esky, it's got a can in there and some other little bits and pieces.
Is that a stubby? Is that what you call them?
Yeah, well, it could be a stubby or a long neck.
Okay.
If it was my car, it wouldn't be wine.
Okay.
Because I don't like wine.
Yeah.
When I bought my car like 5 years ago, I got a bottle of wine with it, and I still haven't opened it. It's in the living room.
Yeah.
And it's like good wine.
Ah, okay.
Not like cheapy stuff. And I think the roof comes off, but I won't risk taking that off and like ripping the windshield off the car.
That's okay.
I also do. I don't have it. I didn't bring it down, but I do have a Mini as well. So, because you're talking about Mr. Bean, of course, Mr. Bean drives a Mini.
Yeah.
I could have bought that. And that's got like in the back, it's got a little basket, like a picnic basket. And it has a rug in there, and it has a loaf of bread, like one of the Frenchy ones, French sticks. That's it. Like the long ones in there. And surely other things.
Cool. And what are some of the sets that you're looking at getting in the future? Sorry to...
Well, they recently released a new car, which is one that's been in one of the Bond movies. And if anybody's seen, what movie is it? Goldfinger. I reckon if there's any, movie buffs out there, they've probably seen that. And Sean Connery, might attempt to be Sean Connery. I think it's one of the first scenes where we see Q as well. They always have those intense scenes in the lab, and Q's like, "Oh, listen up, 007." And he goes, "Okay," and he goes, and they talk about the car or whatever the gadgets are. But in Goldfinger, they talk about the Aston Martin DB5, and it has an ejector seat, and it has like a little shield that comes up the back, bulletproof, and has all these other bits and pieces. I think about 3 weeks ago, maybe a month, Lego released that set, and it's sold out. But I noticed the other day it's back on the website. You can buy it again. So I might have to get one of them. Okay. Because I'm a slight Bond fan as well.
On that theme of films then, you've made a lot of connections through the film stuff that you used to do at TAFE. So if you wanted to tell us a little bit about that, that would be cool.
Well, this was, going back a couple of years, and it's a little bit sad that since then we have sort of dispersed a bit.
Okay.
So we don't necessarily. Actually, I saw the other day somebody who used to go there. I saw their boyfriend, and we talked. We were in the street, and we had a chat for like 10 minutes. I'm like, "Oh, look at you," and he's like, "Oh, look at you," and we're like, blah, blah, blah. But yeah. So my Mav, he was. We're going back there, everybody. He was a film friend, and actually, I still do. I lied slightly. I still do see some friends from those days, and which is nice. And we have sort of dispersed a little bit from, I guess, how close we were before, because when you're going to school or whatever, you're seeing these people,
time, like quite regularly,
nearly every day. Yeah, 5 times a week probably. But now it's a little bit less. But a friend of mine's from school, her boyfriend's really into basketball, and he plays and stuff. So we, occasionally are like, "Oh yeah, how about LeBron James? What a guy, going to LA. What a scandal that is."
Scandal.
Yeah. So we talk about that. And actually, somebody who used to do the school work that I was with, he had some stuff on an David Attenborough documentary. Actually,
that's awesome. That is really cool.
I think they filmed the stuff last year, but we only watched. It was only on TV here, maybe 2 months ago.
Yeah, that's incredible though.
Yeah. So I'm like, "Oh, look at you, big Mr. Documentary maker." But it was like, it was really interesting because everybody had their thing that they were interested in. So most of the people were really into the camera gear and were like, "I'm going to do this. Want to be a DOP camera guy." And then I used to do a bit of everything. Because I was probably really not good at any one particular thing, so you just spread that over all levels. So you do your sound stuff. And actually, one thing I used to love, I'd say a job that I would probably always want to do would be on the clapper, because it's just so I don't know, something about it. You go, "Oh, scene 4 shot, 1 take 2, clap," and then it's just easy, and then you change the number, and you're like, "Scene 4, take 1, take 3," and you're like, like that. So it was like my go-to job on pretty much on every film. I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll do the slate. That'll be I'll do that."
Yeah. And you also not only did you study film, but you also like watching movies, and you have a movie night, or had a movie night. I don't know if that's happened lately, but if you want to tell us a little bit about that.
Well, yes, we used to have a movie night, which was fun. I want to bring it back in some aspect in the future, but like maybe if I get my own place, I'll be like, yeah, movie night, and which was really fun. And we used to have rules as well for the movie night. So, and we had a rotation. It was all very complex. So some of the rules were the movie I think couldn't be over 3 hours long or 2.5 maybe. No documentaries, no like films with subtitles. I pushed for that because I was like, I don't want to read subtitles. But the movie could be dubbed,
Okay,
like English. And somebody did bring a French movie once, which was dubbed, and it was probably the worst film we watched, if I'm honest. And they didn't come back. They come that one time. They're like, "Can we come to the movie night?" And we said, "Yeah, you've got to bring the movie," and they did. And we watched this French movie. It was like post-apocalyptic, I don't know, Paris or something, and they had to get to district whatever. And they're there like, yeah, look at us, we're French, we're doing parkour and all that stuff. And it was, I can't even remember what the storyline was. I can't remember what the movie was called. District 12, I think it might have been. And it was like, yeah, and what other rules? Oh, and nothing too weird and like too arty, because some movies can get real, you know.
Yep.
I think, so we did have a night where we watched like weird movies, and somebody watched Beyond the Black Rainbow, or somebody bought that and we watched that, and that was like my limit of weird movies. I can't get any more weirder than that. That was like for me. And another rule was, or another, not necessarily a rule, but we had to keep the movie that we were bringing secret. So you couldn't turn up and be like, oh, well, we're going to watch The French Connection tonight. It had to be kept under wraps until it was playing. And then everybody would be like, oh, we're watching The French Connection. Oh, look, it's Gene Hackman in 1973. He still doesn't have any hair. And then afterwards, we would have a Q&A. So the first question typically was, why did you bring that movie for? And then we'd just have a bit of a talk about the movie, which was a fun thing to do. And every week somebody would bring a different one. So
yeah, I think
say,
that's
for example,
really cool.
you and me were doing it.
Yeah.
So say, for example, you and me were doing it, you know, of course, one week I'd bring it, next week you'd supply the movie, and then so on and so forth. And another rule we had was you had to watch it regardless. It didn't matter if you'd watched the movie the day before or an hour before, you still had to watch it.
Oh, yeah.
So we were harsh. We had some hard rules.
Memage said that dubbed films are the bane of his existence, and he's seen that French film, District 13.
So like, yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah, I think that's really cool.
When I was talking,
Sorry. You go.
I was just going to say, when I was talking, I had District 9 in my head, and I'm like, no, it wasn't District. It wasn't that big. District 9 is like a popular movie, I think. I don't know. So, yeah, that was fun stuff.
Yeah, getting together for the movie night is an incredible thing, but also then chatting about it afterwards and having that discussion, I think that's awesome. And that's kind of what I like about the Movies and Shows channel and the Discord server, is we can chat about what we've seen and kind of how we feel about them and stuff. And then possibly, maybe, hopefully later this year, there is a movie coming out that a couple of us want to see, and it would be fun because we're all over the world to go and see it on the same day and then hang out and chat about it afterwards. Have an international movie night.
Yeah, it would be. It'd be like, oh, I went and saw so-and-so. Let's do a review. Whoa.
And on that note,
you'll become movie critics.
Yeah, well, yeah. On that note, though, with international, you've travelled and you went on a tour last year and made some great connections there.
Yes. Yeah, it was it was really interesting because I went with my mother because she's getting old. So she's like, I want to travel. Anyway, so we did England, United Kingdom, and then went to Paris afterwards. Anyway, we went on a tour. So we started in London, went up through Scotland, over into Ireland, Northern Ireland, and then the Republic of Ireland, Wales, and then finished, looped back around and we finished in London. So you're going on a tour with other people and you're sort of like, well, who are they? What are they going to be like? And so on, because you're going to be on this thing for like a month or however long it was.
Yeah.
But it was really quite amusing that pretty much everybody except 2 couples were Australian.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So there was one of the couples were from New Zealand.
Okay.
And another couple were Americans.
Okay.
Which was, yeah, I'll just yeah.
Was it an Australian-based tour company then, or was it just an international one that does tours? Like, yeah,
It was an international one, so.
And it just happened that all of them are Australian.
Yeah, that was quite funny. So that was good because I suppose, and it's like when you're at school, everybody has their own little group of people that they sort of get in with, as it were. So yeah, we you know, had some fun times there, which was nice, and yeah, we still keep in contact with some of them. You can send them an email or text or whatever else. So which is good. It's sort of like, oh well, if you're ever in, I think one couple might have been from Rockhampton, I think.
I am.
Which is in sort of North Queensland or mid Queensland. So they're like, oh, have you ever come up here? Come and see us. Like, oh, okay. Well, if you ever come down here, come and see us down south. So it was quite fun. And actually, a couple of times the tour guide, he had a snazzy cap on like this bad boy. A few times, looking a bit dap.
Nice. So. We had another comment from Anthony. Damn, rocking matching hats.
Yeah.
And then
do you have a story? Do you have a story behind the hat?
I've always loved this style of hat. I'm not a really big hat wearer, to be honest. I don't. No. I have maybe one that has like a fascinator thing on that I wore to a wedding once. I kind of bought the hat and attached a fascinator to make it fancy. I went to the races once and wore it there. But
went to the races.
And yeah, so I like this one, and it was just fortunate that you happened to have one similar, and we thought that would be a fun connection that we have.
Yeah, well, I actually bought this for a wedding.
Okay.
A couple of years ago, because it was a 1940s style wedding. So I was like, oh well, I need a cap, don't I? So like this, got it from a great shop.
That's awesome. This one I posted on Instagram a while back. That it reminds me of. I don't know if you watched it. That program from Scotland, which has now lost me.
I want to say Taggart, but that's probably not it.
Monarch of the Glen, and the one of the mum from there. She had a hat like this, and it reminded me of her. Bandrew asked, not a fan of Americans in general, or was it just the Americans on this tour with you?
It was just those ones. That was sort of like the typical the guy was like, it was just a bit of a boaster, and was just like, who cares? Which my typical, well, I'll say the persona of Americans is sort of that, if I'm honest, around here.
Okay.
I won't go any further than that. I won't be like, I won't explain any nicknames or anything. We'll stay away from that.
Yep, that sounds good. Anthony said they look great, and Luke is an official Kango.
Kangaroo.
Yeah. But on that note of being like, you had those things about being in person, how do you feel it is about like making connections online or friendships online compared to being offline?
Well, I think online it's probably easier, I feel, in a few ways. I know we talked about this. We talked about this before, and now I'm sort of trying to think about what I said. But I think probably making a friend online is probably easy because you don't have to deal with, I suppose, if you say something a bit taboo, you don't necessarily have to deal with them, giving you a bit of a dirty look and that sort of thing. So, but that said, it's probably not as personal in many ways because it's just a name and not a face or anything really physical or tangible to go with whoever this person. And you sort of might think, well, their name's, Bandrew Scott. Is that their real name though? Ooh, conspiracy. So it's like, who is this guy?
Yeah, but we've had the chance to chat and voice chat, and that does add one element to it, which is different to this, which is visual, and we can see you and get a bit more of your facial expressions and see what you look like and put that face to a name, like you said, or a voice, like you said earlier. And when we were talking about it earlier, there was we thought of tiers of friendship. So at the top, close at the top of the tier or the pyramid, like the food pyramid, is one of my examples.
Yes.
That you can.
The friendship pyramid. Pyramid. I wish I had a graph. I should have drawn it. But I think at the top for me is probably people you physically know and physically see, because also that's just because you can, I can call up somebody and say, what are you doing tomorrow? Do you want to go and, I don't know, play golf? And I can wear this hat. Whereas, with somebody online, I can't necessarily be like, oh, so Heather, do you want to play golf tomorrow? There's a slight problem with that because we're in 2 different countries. And that's probably really the biggest problem. And, I'm not going to fly to New Zealand to play golf, and you're probably not going to fly here to play golf, like with me, and then go back home. So, it's a bit less personal, mate. Well, could I say that? Or
proximity.
Interpersonal
and proximity. So right physically close to you would be the ones at the top because you can have those,
I think so.
Yeah, interactions with them. Whereas online, there is a bit of a barrier between the interaction that you can have. It's either through a DM. I mean, voice chat has a bit more texture to it, but it's not quite the same. And so the next level down so in-personal ones we had at the top, the next level down we had kind of those online DM ones or people you regularly talk to, say in the server. And then the next level down are general ones that you might be aware of or that you follow their stuff maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I guess it's like if you just watch whoever on YouTube, for example, maybe, or actually I'll take the Discord server for an example. There's people there that you have conversations with, but it doesn't really go beyond the general chat thread. It doesn't, that doesn't then progress to sending them a message or them, say, being in the voice chat, for example. So they're it's a little bit down, a little bit more, I suppose.
Yeah.
So I'm hesitant to say that their value is less, but sort of is, because that's controversial.
It is a little. I feel a little differently. I think possibly Andrew might too, but he said, I think I'm much closer to a lot of people online compared to the people he interacts with in life. For me, I don't have a lot of people physically here. Like my friends that I made from university and friends from school are far away. And so a lot of the people that I connect with regularly happen to be online, and I do find a lot of value in them, and I'm grateful for them. And it is different, though. I just think it's a difference rather than less value or more value. I know that the interpersonal stuff and being able to, I've got a friend who did come down to near where I am, and I was able to give her a hug, and that was nice. I can't necessarily hug people online unless I travel there and go and meet them. So I'm not a big hugger either way, just to let you know. But so Mimage says, same, I've met most of my best friends online. I think it's the types of conversations you have, how often you interact with them, and maybe the level of conversations that you have with ones on your general level, they're obviously going to be surface stuff. It's not going to be the deeper meaningful. But you and I have been able to chat and message through DM, and I really appreciate the support that you've given me over the last few months. So thank you for that.
No problem. It's been, exciting.
It's good. I'm glad it's been exciting. Yeah.
But so I also think that I would just say with the for friends thing, but I think some things like conversation, things might be a little bit different as well. Just I suppose how it sort of works, because if somebody says something and you can, if you're with them, you can be like, oh, you're crazy. But you probably wouldn't really write that in an online message and that sort of stuff. You can be sarcastic twerp when you're with somebody physically rather than online.
Yeah. I think that comes back to Elise's chat that she had with us earlier in the week about asynchronous communication. So the asynchronous part is the fact that it's kind of delayed as well when it's online rather than in person. Yeah. And back to the other thing about the consequences of whatever you do is a little bit more remote when you're online. Well, possibly, but, you can't see the person's reaction to it. So, yeah.
No, that's true. I just noticed what the time was.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. It's a bit longer than our episodes because both of our podcasts are short-form podcasts and we've managed to chat for the last 50 minutes.
Yeah, well, I think my longest episode thus far has been about 12 minutes. I think. So, yeah, it's we're well over that.
Yeah.
At least 4 times.
How are you doing without the bumper music? We haven't had any bumper music in between topic points. Has that been all right?
It has. Yeah.
Good.
Well, it's been good because you'll ask a question and I'll rant about it and it just goes back to you. So you're my jingles. Whereas like when I record mine, I'll talk about whatever and then I'll stop it.
Yeah.
And then I'll sort of like lave a jingle in and then I'll talk about the next thing and then I'll just move it all down when it's edited.
Yeah.
So
Andrew says, give it time, Luke. You'll be up to an hour in no time. Or you could end up like Banjo and when he went through a run of apologizing for going too long. But we enjoy listening to it and we enjoy listening to the BSP too. So
yeah. Keep doing it.
Keep doing it. That's right. And I love that you came up with a plan of how to do yours. So you looked at what your time frame is and your life is like and you thought, yep, I'm going to do the fortnightly thing to make sure you can keep on top of it and put out content as promised. I think that's awesome.
Yes, and especially now, the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be a bit busier with my job because I'm going to be doing somebody else's job whilst they do somebody else's job whilst that person goes away. So I just don't want it to be like, and also I'm going to be editing audio as well. So that's going to be doing that. And then I'll be like, we'll have to go and do a podcast. We'll have to edit audio. So hopefully that won't be like, too much of a thing on me. So, but the good thing is next week's episode, cross promotion, is ready to go.
Good.
Scheduled and uploaded.
Perfect.
So I've got at least 3 weeks until I have to worry about doing another one, I think.
Keep worrying about it though in the background so that you keep on top of it and keep getting there because I know that I've had them banked up before and then you run out and stuff. So yeah. It's definitely Did you manage to fully catch up on better podcasting? Just side question.
Yes. I have. I have finished on better podcasting, and I've in the earlier episodes I found it quite amusing that excuse me. SPs would say, people think podcasting can get them into radio. Because SP talks like that. Actually, he talks really dramatic. I love when he reads out letters. He's like, I'm reading a letter. But I found that quite amusing where he's saying that, people use podcasting or think they might be able to get into radio. But I've gone like the other way. So I've done radio stuff for a while and now doing a podcast. So I've gone backwards in the world of SP.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
I also will say that, yes, Stephen is scandalously handsome.
Nice. Andrew and I can't wait, and I'm sure there are other people who can't wait for your next episode, which will be coming out next week. Did you want to do a plug for the radio stuff that you're doing?
Could do. I don't know. Well, I do. So I do community radio, where I do a show I do a show second Tuesday of the month. Geez, it's 2 hours, where I tell stories and things. So various things that I talk about in that do sometimes make it. Have they actually made it to the podcast? They probably have. I don't know. And I read out some facts because I've got a book of facts, 1,339 QI facts to make your jaw drop. The book's right there. And I'll try and find like a weird news story and whatever else to elaborate on. And then I also do some commercial radio where I talk about the various competitions at the station's flogging.
Okay.
So I would say if you wanted to listen to me do radio, listen to my community show because there's a lot more of me talking.
Yeah. I enjoy it. I've managed to stay up late for it because it starts at midnight my time and goes through till 2 o'clock in the morning. So I have managed to tune in sometimes. Sometimes I fall asleep or I fall asleep before then and don't catch it. I missed this week's one. I'm really sorry, but I was kind of trying to save my sleep so I could talk to you.
Well, it's important. So
coherently.
I usually share like a link in the Discord, or sometimes I will tweet.
Yeah. And it's fun because we've been able to tweet you or message, and you've been good at replying to those while you're actually doing the show. So that's cool.
Yeah. It's like, there's a lot of stuff happening. I'll put it like a song that goes for 5 minutes on, and then I'll see what's happening on the internet. So, whoa.
Yeah. Do you like that interaction with people who are listening live?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. And they can be, this song's really good, or this song's awful, or play this song for me. So, a friend of mine the other night had a song that he made and he wanted me to play it. So I played it, I think, at about 11:30 because I was nearly done because I start at 10 and go to midnight. So if there's somebody wants me to play a song that I haven't listened to and I think, that could be a bit risky, I'll play it late when I'm nearly done as well. And I'll just sort of say something like, I haven't listened to this song, so if it's a bit taboo or has some naughty words, sorry about that.
Okay.
And then we'll go and then we'll play it. So just give a little bit of a warning to the listener. Okay. Don't want to be getting thrown off air or have anybody complain.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this has been chocker full of all sorts of stuff, this chat with you today.
It has.
Chock-a-block. So glad that we connected. You're a lot of fun. You are wise beyond your years, I think how I've referred to you before. And I just really enjoy, you've got a lot of wit and humor and it's funny. And thank you for being a fun part of the Discord server, but also just your podcast, for sharing your stories with us. It's awesome. Can you tell everyone the links again to where they can find you before we wrap up?
You can, yeah. So I'm on Twitter at L_who's talking. That's for the podcast. And my Twitter's, I don't know what it is, at something else. I can have a look.
Okay.
Lukey_newsreel. And the podcast is on Facebook as well. It's like Luke Who's Talking Pod or whatever it's called. Geez, I'm really bad at this. Luke Who's Talking Pod. You can email lukewho'stalkingpod@gmail.com. Get onto whatever your favorite podcast searcher is. Podcast catcher. That's it.
Yep.
And just search up Luke Who's Talking. And it's the very sprightly coloured orange logo with the silhouette that isn't me. I'll let you know that for free.
Cool, thanks.
So yeah.
Find
me somewhere on the internet.
Yeah, we will. And Mark said chuffed to bits, and Bandrew said thank you for being a part of the Discord server. It's always great chatting with you. Great to put a face to the voice.
No problem. And just because, why not? I'll just do this.
Oh yeah, that's right. I nearly forgot about that.
Everybody needs Vegemite.
Yeah.
So
Vegemite's an Australian staple. Yeah.
Exactly. And take the lid off.
We don't have
Look at
smell-o-vision,
black in there.
unfortunately, so we...
Well, maybe one day we'll have
Maybe.
smell-o-vision. We'll smell into smells.
Do you want to give us with a quick tip on how to spread the Vegemite, because it is very important for people trying it?
It is. So I've got some bread, but that's already been done. So what we're going to do, you can use toast, you can use bread or whatever. I'm using a salada, right? Just a generic dry biscuit. Or is it that generic? Well, let me show you. I can do this and I can break it in half. Or if I'm feeling a bit, exciting, I can do this and break it in half again. So you can have it huge in halves or in quarters. So I'll just do the quarter. All right, so I've got my knife. So you need a nice flat edge, beautiful for spreading. I need a bigger table. So you get your veggie. And because we're only spreading it on a small, thing, you only need a little bit. That is actually probably too much, if I'm honest. Because, the blacker, the worse it's going to be. Excuse me. And jeez, my voice hasn't gone because of the smell of this, I'll tell you that.
Mark said, that's not a knife. It's not a knife.
It's a spoon.
There is no spoon.
All you Simpsons fans out there. Spread. Done.
Yeah.
And we see here, of course, it's more black, so it's going to be stronger in that area. But the areas where it's or more of a brown texture, I would say that for the newbies out there who are spreading, you want that sort of color, because that's going to be minimal Vegemite impact on your mouth. Do
you recommend butter first as a pre-layer, or do you prefer no butter underneath?
I would probably butter it myself, just because I pretty much put butter on everything. And also what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some cheese on it.
Nice.
So
there you go.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I should probably eat it. I don't know. It'll be all crunchy. I'm going to get crumbs over my car.
Well,
I've got my Lego car sitting on my lap still. So.
Yeah. I hope that you all enjoyed today's session with Luke. It was amazing having him here. He had his Milo, which is in his Luke Who's Talking cup that he made. So that's incredible. And yeah, finished off with a little treat there with the Vegemite cracker and cheese. Yeah. Definitely go and check out his podcast and all of his things. Say hi on the Twitter and things. And yeah, thank you so much, Luke, for being part of the August Sunshine Summit.
No problem. My birth month as well.
Yeah.
So everybody's having a birthday this month.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I'm so old now.
So old. Let's not get into that game. In March, I turned 50 apparently, so I don't want to know how old I am now.
Wow.
Yeah. Alrighty. Catch you later, everybody. Thank you so much to everyone who came by the live chat. We had Bandrew, we had Tim, we had Mark, we had Anthony, David, Larko, Derek, Meemage, Adam. I think I got you all. Car Ramrod came by earlier and said, oh, All Blacks versus Wallabies. We didn't quite get into that, but that's all right. Maybe another time. Cool. Thanks, everybody.
The All Blacks always win.
Yeah, they do.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. Alrighty. See you later, guys. Bye.